All right, so here we have a 1994 GMC Suburban 1500. What we're going to be doing is replacing our oil cooler lines. All right, so the first thing we need to do is we need to remove our cooler lines from our radiator. And I have a 13/16 wrench. Go ahead and loosen them up. So just kind of wiggle and pop it out. There is an O-ring. All right, so the O-ring stayed in there. We need to make sure we get that out. Oh, and the other O-ring just fell out. All right, and it's draining oil out. So we do have a catch can below. All right, so there's our O-ring. All right, so now we want to remove our hold down, or where the lines are attached, looks like to the motor mount. So I have a 13mm socket. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this nut up. All right, so there's our hold down. All right, so now we need to disconnect our cooler lines from our oil filter extension housing there. So we have these little clips. We're going to squeeze them together and pull the lines out. All right, so I got to kind of push the line in a little bit. All right. So there's one. Oh, and there's two. Just give that a second. All right, so now we need to pull our lines out. All right, so we want to go ahead and replace our oil cooler fittings. All right, so I have a 1-inch socket. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and unthread them. All right, so here we have our new oil line fittings that we got from Auto Parts Direct to You. So we're going to go ahead and thread these in. All right, so now we're ready to install our lines that we got from Auto Parts Direct to You. We did get AC Delco lines. They are labeled an out and an in. So you want to make note when you take yours apart to make sure you're putting it back the same. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to kind of slip our hoses back in along the block. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just feed it past so I can put the front, I can bend the front around and have them go upward. All right, so we'll go ahead and pull it back. I'm going to go ahead and put my hold down now, back in. All right, so there we got our hold down, and everything does look like it's lined up pretty good. All of our angles for our lines, so now we'll go ahead to the top and tighten the top down. All right, so now we're ready to attach our lines to our radiator. All right, my fan is in the way. This is aftermarket. I just need to flatten that bend out a little bit. Outward. Oh, that ain't even gonna fit. Oh. Oh. All right, that looks just good enough. All right, so we're all ready to start it up. We'll check for leaks, and then we'll give it a test drive.